Good afternoon and welcome, everyone. This is What's Stitching in the Cottage and Mail Haul. It is a hot afternoon, so I hope you are all staying comfortable and cool. Let me welcome those of you that are in the live chat. Hello, Debbie. Welcome to you and Patty B. It is great to see you. Let me share with you what has been going on this past week. Again, as far as projects go, there's been a lot of hours spent, and I will show you in a little while what that went to. Hello, Carol, welcome to you. But a lot of time has also been spent again organizing in the Stitching Cottage. I'm trying to improve on the overall aesthetic ambiance feeling of the cottage, making it a little bit more pleasing and welcoming and comfortable for when I come in here to sit down and either quilt or hand stitch. So this week I have spent a lot of time on my stitching corner that is over there. A lot of you have seen that. Hello, G&B. It's great to see you as well. But a lot of you that come on the Zooms and stuff have seen me sitting in that area. Once in a while, I have gone live sitting in the chair in the hand stitching corner. But there is a table in front of that. It's one of the electrical ones that go up and down. And it's usually got a lot of different stuff on it. It has had my laptop on it and some of my work for doing the YouTube, which makes it not so user-friendly for hand stitching. So I have changed that around. I have added some decorative boxes on there. All my hand stitching supplies are there and handy, and the projects that I am working on are placed there. So, and I also changed the my mother's antique train case that I made into a hand stitching box or kit, as you may want to call it, that's on a stand. I have put it back over there, and I have one of the 3-tiered trays over there next to my chair as well to hold projects that I'm working on. So it not only looks a lot better, but is a lot more practical in use. So that is one of the things that I have spent some time on working on in the Stitching Cottage this week. And the main thing that I have been working on this week is our embroidery slow stitching journal. That is the stitch along, working on the actual embroidery decorative stitching of the pages for that. So to show you that, I'm going to switch over real quick to the overhead camera so you can see that better. There it is. Wait for it to come into view. But this is the front and whoops, wrong way, back covers. And I've just got it opened up and spread out now that I've been working on. And yes, I did finish. We'll fold it here so it's easier to show. I did finish the front cover. All the stitching is now complete on that. And I'll hold that up a little closer so you can see some of that stitching close up that doesn't quite show as well way down there, but you can see I've done lazy daisy stitches on the flowers that are in there. We've got seed stitch going on in the background of this one. On the flowers, I had a few ideas floating around, and I decided to go with just the running stitch that is going both directions. So they are crossing over each other. And I actually added in some blue stitching along with the white stitching on that to fill that area. We've got our butterfly that is attached down on there. And of course, the title of the journal right there. And then on this little blue fabric over here, this was a pattern that is in the fabric. And I did French knots on all of that. So that is actually stitched. They're very small, so hard to tell. You can feel it. As far as seeing it, you wouldn't know until you feel it. But hello, Vintage Style by Joe. It is great to see you. I'm doing okay. And then on the green, oops, sorry, my thread from the other side there is getting caught in my finger. But on the green fabric here, there's also dots on that fabric. So once again, filled that in with the French knots. And there is also a chain stitch going around the outer edge of that fabric patch. And up on this blue one, all those little dots that you see, the little stitches right there. And over here, you can see the French knots. That is again, just going by what was on the background of the fabric and filling that in. And on the little pink, that's hard to see, the pink on pink. There we go. All that is running stitches on that one. And as we open it up so we can get to the back page, this lace is the spine of my journal. That'll be the outside, and it is now stitched down on both sides as well. You'll close that over so you can see the back side. And we will start right down here with the little, that is a traced design that was then used the crayon color tinting technique on that for all of the shading, and then did the, excuse me, as I get the right direction here, and did all of the embroidery stitches on that, which we have a stem stitch going around the cup and the little blob of green that's on the bottom of it. Also stem stitch going around the flowers, lazy daisy on the leaves, some French knots there, and then stem stitch there. And it also has a split stitch going all the way around. And I just realized again, remind myself, I have seed stitching that I'm doing. There we go. You can see it as a filler in the background, and that's not complete. So I will have to complete that. But then we have a fly stitch going around that also. And on this patch over here, that I really love the effect on how that turned out, this has, did you lose me? I hope not. I hope not. Am I still here? Somebody let me know, since G&B said, did we lose you? Doesn't say that I'm not on, so hopefully it is just at your end. I'll continue on unless somebody tells me they're not seeing me anymore. But anyhow, this is all French knots and the lazy daisy stitches on that. I'm good. Okay, thank you. Very good. Had me worried there for a minute. But, and that was the background on that fabric. So I just did the stitching over all of that. And then we did the same technique here with the running stitches going both horizontally and vertically. And I have pink thread just randomly on some of these stitches in as well. Yeah, I think it was just you, Jean B, because the others said that I was still here. So, but. And then on the blue here, I did a little different. I did do the fill in of the French knots again and the other stitches, but I also did little fly stitches on where you can see the vining pattern going through there, and I'm still stitching on that. So that part's not done yet. But as you can see with all the stitching that's been done on there, that does take a while. So it's, even though there's not much else that I got done this week, that is a lot of stitching. And I also did the embroidery stitches. There would have been a total of 8 of those that were done in the videos that were taught this week as well. Thank you, Joe. We'll set that off to the side. So that is what I was stitching on. And I will share now what I am going to be working on this week. Some of you may remember this pattern, the junk bag, which is a great big bag that I'm going to use for putting projects in to take along with me places and whatever as I'm working on them, mainly for my Kwandi. And I am making that bag out of a Kawandi. And then we might have to switch back to the other camera now. I think will be easier because these projects are a little larger. Switch back. There we are. And I can just hold that up for you to see, but I'm going to be working on finishing the Kawandi. That is the back side of that bag, and it's done in cowgirl fabric theme, a little different for a Kawandi, but that's just what I had and liked. So that's what I'm using, and it will have the front pretty much like that, but out of the prints that are the same as in the Kawandi on that. So I am pulling that out to work on some more this upcoming week. And then we have a friend in she happens to be in the chat. She has inspired me to get out and do this next project. As you all know, as stitchers, we love thread, but we don't like the threads that end up all over us while we're stitching. So she has, and I will tell you who that is. That is Carol Ruschel. That is the inspiration for this. She has been wearing an apron when she stitches and quilts, and that keeps the well, also not just the threads, but the cat hair off of her as well, because her kittens are always joining her as she is stitching, and we love to see them. It wouldn't be Carol without the kittens, that is for sure. But I had this panel for this apron. It's kind of a funny one because it has a wine theme to it. It says, I love cooking with wine. Sometimes I even put it in the food. But anyway, so that is all cut out pieces and ready to stitch up and sew. So I will be working on that. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get back to my Wednesday tip demo Wednesday. So I will probably be working on this apron on a Wednesday live for tip demo Wednesdays. And I also, from working on the hand stitching corner over there, I already have one of these pin cushions and little thread catcher bags made, but I'm a little OCD and it doesn't match that area. So I want to make another one out of fabrics that do match the theme for my area over there. So I pulled this pattern out so that I could do that. I need to make an anti-thread hairnet. Yes, I think you're not the only one that has that problem, Jill. But yeah, I was busy on the slow stitching and some organizing, but other than that, well, had a few had a few uh doctor's visits and appointments and stuff to take my husband to also, and that took up some extra time. But and then in also sticking with the hand stitching corner over there and redoing that, I love pin cushions. As you know, I collect them and I have several pin cushion patterns. And of course, we have whip in the cottage. So what better pin cushion to do than this little doggy one that also holds your scissors with right behind the tail there. There's a pocket to be able to hold the scissors and everything. So I'm going to make that pin cushion also and hope to get it at least cut out, both of those. I don't know how much I will get sewing done on those, but those are also pulled for next week. And then you know how I love French general fabrics. And let me see if I move my chair. You can see the basket right here is quite full with all of the things that I have pulled and have received so far to be working on the big 6-month slow stitching project that I will be joining in with Roxy's Creations group. And I will show more of that right before I am ready. I need to do a flat lay on that. And when I get that out and set up, I will share that with you. But I have had this jelly roll of the Ruineries Trois French General and also this charm pack And I know several of you, a while back, we did a stitch along that I designed a quilt on my channel that is called Jellied Charm. And it uses one jelly roll and one charm pack and makes a really beautiful quilt. So I am going to be making that for my master bedroom. And I do believe, I'm not sure, I didn't have a chance to check before going live, but I do believe that that pattern PDF is in the files section in in my private Facebook group. Those of you that are in that group can access that pattern. If it's not, I will make sure to add it in there after this live is over. It won't be immediately. It will take just a little bit because I have to run in and do a couple things with the husband when this is over, and then I will come back out and find that and make sure that it is in there. Yes, isn't that a cute and different pattern? It's gonna turn out nicely. But so those are the things that I plan on working on, plan on. Operative word there, plan. But hopefully I'll get to work on most of them, get parts of them all done. That's the goal. But so now it is time for mail haul. And some of you following along also know that we had some bad storms in our area this past week, and we did lose power. Not the first time that that's happened out here when I'm left in the dark with only my trusty dusty little flashlight here, but I do have that handy. But it's not fun because, you know, if there was some way to have some type of emergency lighting or whatever, could at least sit here while you're waiting for the power to come back on and be working on hand stitching in the stitching corner, you know, or something like that. So I did a little research on Amazon and I found some light bulbs that you actually use in your regular lamps, and they charge themselves while you are using them in your lamp. And then when the power goes out, they're already charged and they will come on and you can change the dimness of it so it uses less power on the battery that recharges. So you will have light, and I got a 6-pack of them, but you can charge them and then you can also not be using them. So it's not running, you know, down the charge at any time. So you have them, you can just hold the light bulb in your hand, touch the bottom of it, and it will light up to lead you just like a flashlight around. It can be in your lamps. It will come on when the power goes out. And it also has little hangers so you can hang it wherever you want, and that will work. Thank you, Debbie. She went and checked and she said, yes, the Jelly Charm pattern is in the files. So that is already there for those of you that want to go and look in the files section and look for Jellied Charm pattern. And it is there with all the instructions and everything for you. So that is one thing that I got in the mail. And then also, I love doing that color tinting technique, but I needed some more things other than just the ways that I have been finding things to do. I've been looking for some birds, and I'm having a hard time finding the sizes and stuff that I need for that. So I did get these stamps. They're a little smaller than I was expecting, but I can always stamp them, and on fabric, and then I can run it through my printer and enlarge them to the size that I want, or on paper, and then do it on fabric. I said that a little backwards there, but those are some cute ones. They have they're a stamped effect with words behind it on there. And I don't know if you'll be able to see these ones or not. I have to tear that open to get that open. I haven't opened it yet, but I also got these birds to be able to use for that. And then I also got these floral ones. So I have some of those stamps to use, and I needed more of the archival ink that I use for fabric. So I also got that. Hello, June. It is great to see you as well. Welcome. So we have that. And because I'm doing a lot of my own crocheting for my vintage items and everything, this is a crochet motifs book. Instead of doilies and stuff, it has different little, see if I can find some of them. Oops, that's the introduction. But it has just smaller, different patterns for motifs and everything. So, and it's spiral bound, which makes it very nice. Different shapes and everything. So by using whichever type of yarn you want, using a thinner yarn or a thicker yarn will make a difference on the size of those. So I received that as well as another, yes, coloring book to get all the flowers in that I love to do in that crayon color tinting technique as well. If you don't remember what that technique is, it was on the coffee cup that I just showed you, but it's also, this is done with that as well. But so we have another one to be able to use and trace and do that technique on those to use in stitching and other ways. And let me see, still needing to find linen because I don't use linen when I make quilts, but I do use linen for the slow stitching projects, and that is hard to find. So I have found a couple places on Etsy that I can get it. And this one took a little longer to come, but I have these two. This is a little darker than it's showing on there, but they're two brown tone ones that I got yardage of. They sent this little swatch card of some other colors that they have, and that was from Ernest Quilts, is the company on Etsy that I got that from. And that will be going in my basket over here as well. So, and let me see, next in our thing, I use a lot of these project bags. And I think I've only got about 2 left. This is the one that's variety pack. It's different sizes. So there's all different sizes of them in here. But I use those a lot to keep the projects that I'm not working on, but will be coming up in my rotation soon. I put them in and have them stored in certain places out here in the cottage. But so I got more of those as well. My stack's getting a little high here in front of me. And then from Fat Quarter Shop, I went and I found, yeah, they had some linen. Let me see what this is, or this might be the, let me check for sure. No, this is one of the plain fabrics from the French General Ruinerie Cloth. So I got yardage on that one because it is much like a linen. And I also got 1, 2, 3. Let me look at my receipt again, wherever I put that. I'm not going to open this. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, there's 4 different fabrics in this package that are also with that same fabric line that I'm using from the French General for that project. So that also goes in there, except this will be cut down because that's a little bit more yardage than what I'm going to need for that. But I'm going to be redoing my master bedroom in that style also. So, and I am going to be getting back into some bag making and organizers making. So I got some of the vinyl that I will need when I'm doing that, also from Fat Quarter Shop. And I went ahead and got more of the soft and stable that is used for bags as well. So that is the mail haul for this week. Putting the non-fabric stuff back in there. The fabric I we'll just leave here and put away, but we'll get that out of the way. Put this over here. And that seems to be everything that has been going on this past week and received in the mail in the cottage. So I hope that you have enjoyed as I shared all of this with you. And those of you that are working on your, as we get to it, as it's on the bottom, on your slow stitching journals. I know I have seen some of yours. You're coming along and getting your page layouts done, and some of them basted on. And most of you are keeping up with the embroidery stitches. We still have two more series 8 and 9, that we will teach the rest of the stitches, and those will be the next 2 Tuesdays. And then we will wait a little while and we will have another one that shows how you put your pages together after they are all stitched and embroidered with your decorative stitching. So you know how to do that. And always during the week, every week on Thursdays and Saturdays, we have Zoom Stitch Days. If you are members of the Facebook group, that we get together and we stitch on whatever it is that we want to, and also have been stitching on our journals and another stitch along project that we have going on in there. So that's always a great time and fun, and a lot of sharing that goes on in that. So, and the link for the private Facebook group, Captain Stitches and Friends, is always in the description box below. So you can request to join that. Make sure you do answer the questions that are there. Otherwise, your request will be declined. You do have to answer those questions for me. So thank you. And if you are watching this video live and you're not subscribed, please think about going ahead and hitting that subscribe button, the notification button, that bell, so that you always get notified when I have a new video drop or go live. That would be awesome. It does always help, and love seeing new people and sharing with others. So take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay cool. I will see you on Tuesday. And remember, in the meantime, I can keep you in stitches. Bye-bye, everyone.